Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Black Friday Live. I'm your host, Dr. Mateen Diop, where we bring you the hottest guests, the hottest events, and the hottest businesses all in the Alamo City. And today is no different. I have two very special guests with me today, the dynamic duo, the husband and wife team of Katina and Jeffrey Clark of Clark Limos, Clark Insurance, and just Clark everything. How y'all doing?
Doing good, sir.
So we're going to talk today about kind of ownership, business ownership. Mr. Clark, I'll go back with you, and I know that you've always had this business mindset, but I want to kind of pick your wife's brain here about the limo business and how that whole limo thing just came about. Why the limo business?
Well, my husband would tell the great story as when he was a little child, that was always his childhood dream. So he just made that dream to be manifested in what it is today. Okay.
So limo, now what aspect of the limousine we talk about? So now I think this is June. Now we're in prom season, graduation season. So how does that work out for you?
Prom season, graduation season works out great.
Okay.
Works out great.
So how does one kind of get inside a Clark limousine? What does that look like? What does that whole experience look like if I'm riding in the back of a Clark limo?
Well, first of all, when we arrive at your location, we're going to roll out that red carpet and make you feel like you're a very important person, because you are a very important person.
All right.
So we like to do something different that no other limousine service do without extra charge, and that is roll out the red carpet, which is our slogan. We will roll out the red carpet, and we do.
So what kind of limousines am I talking about? Can I get that new Bentley limo? What are we talking about?
That's up and coming.
That's coming? Okay.
It's up and coming. But right now what we have is the Lincoln Town stretch limousines with the seating capacity of 10.
Okay.
And then when someone wants a Hummer or party bus, we have other people that we kind of reach out to help us out with that.
So I've always been curious about the limo. Let's say you have a teenager, somebody in the community who needs a job to drive for you. What does that entail? How does one become an employee of Clark Limo?
Well, to be honest with you, because of insurance purposes, I would not hire anybody normally under 21 years of age because of the insurance purposes and the liability. But all they have to do is give us a call or come in, fill out an application, because we like helping out the community, and I do believe in giving young people a chance and opportunity, because it was offered to me, and I would like to offer it to them.
Do you have to have a commercial driver's license in order to?
No, sir. As long as it's a 15 passenger or less, you do not need a CDL license.
Okay.
Anything over 15 passenger, including the driver, you do need a CDL.
And what's the website? How can I get in touch with Clark Limo?
It's clarklimosatx.com.
Clark SATX. Okay, so now let's transition into the insurance side. That's interesting. You have the limousine side, now the insurance side. How did those two kind of mesh? How did that come about?
Well, my husband is the original. He has his life insurance license first.
Okay.
And he got me interested in the pre-need business. Now that's a great love for me. So we all do whole life, we do term life, and our special thing that we do in addition to is that we do pre-arranging funerals to help family in their most difficult times, to help their families prepare for that, for their loved ones, and that is something that's it was his passion, but now it's my passion and love that I just definitely want to help as many families as possible in a full range of things. So not only do we can do your life insurance with financial at the end, but we can also help your families prepare before it happens, or even at the time it does happen, that your family doesn't have to go through the additional stress. A lot of families don't know all the ins and outs of the funeral business. They assume that it's just the funeral cost and that's it, but there's many additional costs that you're not aware of. And that's where we are coming into play, is that we come and help you and assist you and to make those final arrangements.
Oh, okay. So I have to, like, on a personal story, my mother passed away a few years ago. She, unbeknownst to all of her children, we didn't know that she had already had that pre-need taken care of, and I had no idea. We go to the funeral home and everything is taken care of, but I'm interested on the business side. If you're at a party, and how do you broach the subject of, let's go ahead and talk about your death? I mean, how do you broach that subject?
How about that? It's not about that. It's about, let me help your family.
Okay.
Let me help you, because we're all going to die if we really talk about it. And let's talk about it while you joyous, happy. Give me 1 hour time with your family. Let's make some arrangements, and then we don't talk about it anymore. Your kids are taken care of. Your husband. A lot of times you are married to someone and you don't even know what their needs are. I think the toughest decision is to go into the funeral home after you get the call. One, you are in shock. You are in grief, and then you have to go into this funeral home and make decisions for someone else that you really don't know what their heart truly desire is.
Right.
So in a meeting, we just had let's have a conversation, and and then also the company we represent through Texas Service Life, it has a grandchild and a great grandchild rider attached to it, which it covers 8. Now that's the thing that we definitely talk about, because a lot of our children don't have insurance on our children, our grandchildren, and it covers that option. So if something happens, as long as you're still living, the child or grandchild is still covered. It gets the same service that you have, and that's additional. It's free. Okay. It's nothing additional to that, and I think that's also a benefit that also drives that conversation to make it more pleasurable.
One of the saddest things to see is when you look on social media and you see people trying to raise money for funerals and whatnot.
Right.
And then some of us are under the mindset, oh, my child gonna do right by me when I pass away, or this, that, or the other. In a lot of cases, when that time comes, you think you have enough insurance and you really don't. And what I like to say, my slogan was, it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when. Because as my wife said, we're all gonna die. Unfortunately, we're all gonna die.
Right.
So it's better to be prepared than to be unprepared.
Absolutely.
So if you go ahead and take care of your business now, then when that time do come, handle it. It's easy. It's no upset. My wife and I both, we have our own set of children. This is another marriage that we have. We was married once before. My first wife that you knew passed away. And I'll be honest, and I'll even go back to that. I worked with the funeral business since I was about 13. I started at Carter Taylor Williams. So I had an insight of what pre-needs was. So after I married after my 21st birthday, I made the decision, you know what, we need to get our pre-needs, because I don't know when that time is coming. And if we have a few minutes to share, I'm the age my father was when he passed, which was 48. I was 9 years old when he passed. So I always kind of had the idea in my mind that, you know what, I'll probably be like my dad, passed at 48. Hope don't, but that was just embedded in my mind. So my decision was, let's go ahead, make our arrangements now, because I didn't want my wife and my children having to go in trying to pick what they think I would want. But I know what I want.
Yes, sir.
So I decided, you know what, let me go ahead and plan this out. So when that time comes, number one, the insurance that I leave behind, y'all won't have to be paying that for my funeral service, because my funeral's already paid for. I would not tell anyone not to have a life insurance policy, but if you have to pick one of the two, I would always say go ahead and do the pre-need, because the pre-need, you're freezing the cost of the funeral at today's price. Right. My funeral cost when I was 23 years old is when I did my pre-need. My funeral back then was $9,800. That same funeral today is $28,000. So the beauty of it is I froze the cost back then when I was 23. So when my time come, my wife won't have to pay $28,000. All she do is give them that pre-need policy, and the insurance money that she will get, that can go to other things, pay off the bills, travel, whatever she would like to do or need to do.
I can say that, I know the conversation got really serious when we're talking about pre-needs and all that, but when my mother passed away, I can tell you that saved our lives. We have all 6 of us sitting in the funeral home and looking at all these options, but they were all paid for. And all of us kind of just looked at each other like, wow, my mother had the wherewithal to do that. So I can tell anybody who's out there who needs pre-needs, who wants pre-needs, contact Sister Katina and Brother Jeffrey Clark and Clark Clark Limousine and Clark Insurance, and talk to them. Don't be afraid to have that conversation, because like he said, it's not if, it's when. So give me the website again. How can I get in touch with you as it relates to the limousine service again?
How you can get in touch with me with the limousine service is www.clarklimosatx.com.
And the insurance side, is that the same?
No,
insurance side.
The insurance is clarklegacy.org.
Clarklegacy.org. So you just heard it. You heard it from Sister Katina, Brother Jeffrey Clark. They have a thriving business. Support them. Do all you can to support the business in our community. And we're going to be talking to you next time. Thanks for joining Black Video Live, Black Friday Live with Dr. Mateen Diop. Peace.